Today's video is a MarketFox dashboard update and tutorial. The MarketFox tab is the main dashboard. Data from the other pages is imported into this page. I've moved a few things around, starting with the sectors. I moved it up to the top so that when you open up the dashboard you can have a quick market overview. You can find data for the corresponding sectors down at the bottom. Simply scroll over, you have your disclaimer, your quick market data. Wherever you see yellow font or highlighted yellow cells in blue font, you can usually make changes. In the quick market, just enter the tickers you want to watch for the index, intermarket, sectors, and a quick top 10 watch list. Although you have another watch list, maybe you want to keep an eye on the big cap stocks or some other particular market. This is a convenient way to enter them. Then next to that is the sector tab, where you have all the sector data. You have a data provider and tickers that you can enter for the main sectors. Then you have your watch list tabs. There's a total of 8. You can change the title of the watch list, the data provider, or the tickers. These are just some examples of some of the watch lists I have. After the watch lists comes your portfolio tab. You can have up to 100 stocks on your long book and 100 stocks on your short book portfolio list. You can change the data source provider, the ticker, and the entry price. Stocks with a P&L of -5% or worse will be highlighted in yellow so that it'll draw your eye to your underperformers. Then there's your watch list. You can select your data provider, a benchmark to gauge your watch list against, and an alert filter. You can also change the ticker and the entry points. Stocks within plus or minus 1% are highlighted in yellow to draw your eye to them so that you don't miss your ideal entry point. And stocks plus or minus 2% are highlighted green to draw your attention to them. Up at the top there's a few extra things. Each watch list has a benchmark. In this case SPY. All the data that's underneath it relates to it. Your short watch list has its own separate benchmark. You can choose whatever you like, but it makes more sense to select a benchmark that correlates as closely as possible to your watch list in order for it to be meaningful. It also shows the relative strength and relative weakness of your watch list long and short basket. At the open, changes from the open. Advances and declines at the open, advances and declines from the open. There's also the alert data, which is very important. You must make sure you enter the negative number first and the positive number second. If you want to narrow your watch down, you make these numbers smaller. If you want to increase the scope of your watch, then you expand them. I recommend you have enough to fill at least one column. And as you can see on the main MarketFox dashboard, all the pages we just looked at are represented. Here's the quick market information, sectors. In gold we have the portfolio, long at the top, short at the bottom, and then the watch list. It shows the worst performing stocks in your portfolio first so that you can keep losses short. And in the watch list, it highlights again stocks that are plus or minus 1% from your buy point. Here are all your watch lists, 1 through 8. Leaders at the top, laggards at the bottom. Further, you have the open dash and you have the mid dash. Those pages are to the right of the MarketFox dashboard, and they're green. So if you want to find more information about a ticker that you're interested in, or you want to see how the whole basket's doing for any given category, you can click on the individual pages. You can select different data providers. As you can see, some data providers, especially the free ones, perform better with some things and worse with others. So I might have Yahoo for percent change off the open, while for gaps I'm using a broker, TD Ameritrade. The information that you see percentage-wise is change from the open, unless otherwise noted. For the sectors, there's percent change here, but down in the individual sections it highlights change from the open at the top. The number at the bottom is where it is in the range for the day. The top 3 and bottom 3 performing sectors are highlighted in green or red. green for outperforming, red for underperforming. It's also highlighted for the range. It highlights the 3 best performing ranges and the 3 worst performing ranges. The dashboard has the same dashboard tools as it did before. Some have been improved with a few additions. You have a quick ticker lookup. It'll give you the bid, the ask, the spread, the ATR, which you can adjust to whatever ATR you want. This is a 30-day look back period to give you a sense of how far the stock has gone, if it's overextended or not. Then there's a quick risk tool under the watch dashboard, since those are the stocks that you're primarily watching. Then under the open dash, we have a quick summary of gainers versus decliners, and those showing relative strength, outperforming or underperforming SPY, which is an ETF proxy for the S&P. Tickers that repeat are highlighted to draw your attention to them. If you don't have any data, one of 2 things is going on. It hasn't had time to generate 10 3-minute periods to load the data. So one is you just need to wait for the data. And the second is you might be having a data provider issue. If that's the case, just go to the corresponding page and you can try to change tickers to see if it works. And there it is. If you see too many symbols pop up in a cell, that's the data provider's way of telling you that you've exceeded the number of tickers that they allow. Sometimes this can be changed if you change it to a different data provider, or if you change the symbol. Sometimes that will do the trick. But you're only as good as your data. The mid dash is geared towards later in the day or later in the morning, while the open dash is geared towards the open. Your watch lists are for any time, based on your individual strategies, and the market and sector information can be monitored throughout the day for opportunities. As with all dashboards that you are copying and pasting stock tickers into, you want to make sure that if you're copying from another Excel spreadsheet, that before pasting them into the dashboard, you make sure that the format cells are not locked. Otherwise, you'll end up locking yourself out of your workbook and unable to change the tickers in the future. You can also enter them manually, and you always, when you copy and paste, you either want to paste them as text or simply paste the value. Throughout this workbook, you'll find hyperlinks, trading, learn more, trading, learn more. Some will be at the bottom of pages, so if you take the time to explore, you'll find a good bit of educational information hidden throughout in hyperlinks. I had to expand this dashboard to include the 2 recent additions in the sector, XLC and XLRE, and that opened up some space to add some portfolio and watch list information. It also opened up space for another technical scan. This is the 20-day high close. As I mentioned earlier, you can adjust it to however many days you want, and this is the same but for the low close of the last 20 days. And then I added a MACD trigger indicator. Please keep in mind that whatever you have your intraday preference set to is the interval that will be playing out on your dashboard. I have it set for 3 minutes. I use 3-minute charts a lot for my day and swing entries, and so it makes sense for me to use that. If you use a different time frame chart like the 10-minute or the 60-minute or the 1-minute, you'll want to change your preference here. All these scans and technical setups are in relationship to the time frame that you trade. Also under data source specific, that's where you're going to enter your username and passwords to connect to your various data sources. Under the XLQ icon, you can go to View Data, select Status. If you're uncertain if your workbook is updating, you can go here and check it out. So aside from a few additions and a little restructuring of the layout, I haven't changed much from the last video. I have been working on improving the formula efficiency and trying to import additional information on the pages from portfolios and watch lists. Please keep in mind this is primarily a bottom-up opportunity dashboard, and it is geared towards intraday trading as opposed to end-of-day trading. Although you can look at the final tallies of performances of various stocks at the end of the day and see which was the strongest or the leading and which was the weakest or the most underperforming, and you can use that to potentially find setups for the next day, or at least get some of the strongest or weakest moves on a watch list for the next day to see if there's any follow-through. That about covers everything. Thanks for watching and good fills, everyone. If you found my free educational materials helpful, I encourage you to make a donation to the Children's Therapy Center, an outstanding nonprofit organization that helps children with special needs. You can also give without actually giving by using Amazon Smile. Amazon Smile is run by Amazon.com, and a portion of your purchases will go to the charity of your choice. Simply select Children's Therapy Center, located in Kent, Washington. You can find more about the Children's Therapy Center on my website on the Principals page. You can also find links to CTC on my YouTube channel in the About section, as well as under every video that I produce. Also consider donating if you've had a great year in trading. Be generous, contribute, give back. Lend a hand to those in need. You can find more free educational material on my website. Under the Education tab, you'll find helpful podcasts, YouTubes, chat room information, book suggestions, webinars, presentations, and helpful resource links. There's information on lessons learned and psychology, trades made, a dedicated section to trading growth stocks, market information, helpful tools and discounts on trading services, information on XLQ, an Excel plugin that retrieves real-time and historical financial data, market and stock analysis. And there's an assortment of videos on my YouTube channel. All this information is for educational purposes only, and the goal is to help you build a solid foundation that you can expand upon. Our chat room is popular and a favorite for many growth stock traders. Take the time to build a solid foundation of understanding before you begin trading. Take the time to clearly define your setups, your entry triggers, your sell rules, and most importantly, have a thorough plan for risk management. The first step in that journey is learning. There are no shortcuts to successful trading, so take the time to research and to educate yourself thoroughly.